Good evening, everybody. I'm a little late, just recovering from the Rona. But today, July 19th, 2023, we got a lot of Overwatch news and Activision Blizzard news. As you can see from the headline to my left, not good news. I'll start with that first, then we'll start with the good stuff right after. So, the big drop today, well, one of the two big drops today of news is that Activision Blizzard has laid off esports staff as it faces potential dramatic changes for the Overwatch League. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't followed Overwatch League in a while, Overwatch shifted from Twitch to YouTube in a YouTube live streaming deal a couple of years ago, and I'm gonna be honest, ever since that transition, it feels like the live stream and the league itself has been kind of on the downfall, along with the sentiment, the public sentiment of the league and of the game. So honestly, if you've been following the league for a while, this has been the writing on the wall for a long time. For the past like 3 years after it recovered from the COVID year, everyone's like, this is the last year of Overwatch League. There's no way. All the sponsors were dropped in recent years too, or I think the last year after the sexual misconduct allegations to Activision Blizzard, everybody dropped out. Every single sponsor that I could think of. The only one that like came back or at least tried for a half or at least a portion of the season was Butterfingers. I've never had a Butterfinger, by the way. I only learned about what a Butterfinger was thanks to their sponsor. I still haven't tried it. Maybe I'll try it in when I visit the States next time. I swear that we have it here in Canada, but I don't know. Never really was too excited for chocolate. In any case, let me go on to this article. So, lots of layoffs in the Overwatch League with a potential dramatic change. Let's scroll down here. Okay. Amid the final days of the Activision Blizzard Microsoft deal, Activision Blizzard is laying off workers in its esports department while also preparing for potentially huge changes coming to the Overwatch League. Earlier today, Blizzard released its second quarter earnings report. Let me open this. Within which lies the potential fate of the Overwatch League. From the report, okay, so they actually took a little excerpt from this entire long investor report. If you're into finance and stuff, you could download this entire PDF. But these articles, like, you know, grab the important nuggets of information for you, which they said, or Activision Blizzard said, during the second quarter, we amended certain terms of our collaborative arrangements with team entities participating in the Overwatch League. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch League season, the teams will vote on an updated operating agreement. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity with a total fee of approximately $114 million. This means that the fate of the league after the current season of Overwatch League is now in the hands of team owners to be voted on sometime later this year. Though we don't know what the franchise owners will decide, based on the shaky financial and team developments of the last few years, we can make an educated guess. Okay, I'm going to stop reading there and interject really quick. Number one, what kind of a vote are we talking about? Is it a majority rule? Let's say, isn't this a thing where, like, doesn't everybody have to say yes? Anybody who says no, they're allowed to leave and take their $6 million paycheck and just say bye-bye? How many teams do you need in a league to actually function? You know what I mean? If like 10 teams, or let's say like 7 teams out of however many teams we have are gone, is that enough to continue the league? Maybe it's a super majority, not a 50-50. Yeah, it's not clear if it's an all or nothing, maybe a super majority, 2/3 vote. That is still unknown. That is not public information, but as it currently stands, taking back $6 million would probably be a wise choice for a lot of companies to cut their losses and go. Now, if I remember correctly, the initial buy-in for a franchise spot was $20 million 5 or 6 years ago. $6 million is still per team. $6 million per team. This is definitely just to recoup some of the losses, but a lot of teams never saw a return on their investment. Terrible ROI. Esports was overvalued 5-6 years ago. I don't know how in the hell Bobby and whatever executives managed to sell this kind of snake oil to every league owner to get them to buy in for $20 million, but Man, taking $6 million back, that's probably like, yeah, minimum $20 million. It's like a small rebate. So if they bought in for $20 million and they had to operate the team with like $2-3 million a year for the past couple of years, like this is still, that's tough for the small companies that like decide to buy into Overwatch League. That is tough. I have a strong feeling that there's no, especially with the way the sentiment of the league and the game is going, it doesn't make sense to me, but I am just a lowly, consumer of the game. I'm not part of any org anymore, so it doesn't make sense to continue operating if I were a league owner. When everything is just like, it's better to like drop out now and then maybe reinvest at a later time if things like look better. It's probably better to cut your losses and go. So the writing's on the wall. Everybody here is saying that we're making an educated guess that this will probably be the final year of Overwatch League in its current state when teams take the $6 million buyout. Does that mean professional Overwatch tournaments and stuff is gone forever? No, it just means the official league is gone. Well, this may be an opportunity for new grassroots, authentic, organic competition to take over, but some people are also arguing that's like a pipe dream. This is the 7-year-old game. Can we really have organic growth once again from a game that's no longer as popular as it used to be? Hard to say. I'm leaning towards no. Over the past year, everything has just been like, I have to see it to believe it at this point. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the writings on the wall here. Let's continue reading. Last year, esports journalist Jacob Wolf reported that Activision Blizzard was owed around $400 million in franchise fees from both its Overwatch and Call of Duty leagues after it postponed payments due to the widespread financial stress related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then last month, Sports Business Journal reported that the Overwatch League waived its franchising fees, canceling a portion of the 20 to 35 million. So I said 20 million earlier, 20 to 35 million. So they canceled a portion of it in fees each team paid in order to participate in the league. This was, they waived it because actually the Toronto Defiant, or Overactive Media, the parent company of Toronto Defiant, led the lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for these franchise fees for the Overwatch League, for the teams. Like, Overactive Media fought to have Activision Blizzard waive a bunch of the fees because they're like, bro, we're losing, there's no sponsors, we're not making any return on our money. Like, COVID messed everything up. You guys had a bunch of lawsuits, all these sponsors dropped out, we got left in the dust. What the fuck? And they won. I think they sued for a misleading investment. They sued for the snake oil that Activision sold them, and they won. So hey, good job Overactive Media and everybody else fighting to get some of your money back. So they canceled a portion of that, and they get $6 million back at this point. Additionally, back in January, several Blizzard games, including Overwatch and Hearthstone, were taken offline in China because Blizzard and its longtime Chinese publishing partner, NetEase, failed to negotiate a new licensing agreement. Then in April, at the start of the 2023 season, the league announced that one of its Chinese teams, the Chengdu Hunters, would not be participating for the first weeks of the season as they continued to contemplate the future direction of their team. There was a hope that the Hunters, a fan favorite, would return later in the season before it was reported in June that the team was gone for good. So given all of this, and the general cooling on esports overall, it's a safe assumption that the franchise owners will probably choose not to continue on with the league, take the $6 million payout, and summarily end the franchise era of Overwatch esports. Did I say that word right? I've actually never said the word out loud. I've typed this before a million times in essays. Summarily, whatever. Tomato. Summarily. Okay, summarily, sorry. Not summary, summarily. However, though it is likely that the owl will cease to exist as we know, that doesn't necessarily mean it'll simply cease to exist, period. In an exclusive interview with The Verge, Overwatch League Commissioner Sean Miller affirmed Blizzard's commitment to Overwatch esports no matter how the franchise vote shakes out. He said, "I want to be clear on one thing in particular, that Overwatch remains committed to a competitive ecosystem in 2024 and beyond," Miller said, "and we're building toward a revitalized global scene that prioritizes players and fans." Sorry, Sean. I just made a different voice for you, just so people are listening. Okay, whatever. Miller didn't clarify exactly what OWL 2024 could look like, but said that the Overwatch esports team is looking at other esports leagues, for example, including a league from Overwatch's own past, the Apex tournament. If you look at our playoffs format that we're doing this year, that should be a clear indication that yes, we've been looking at Apex as one of our examples. This is not Apex Legends for those who are like only in Overwatch. Apex was the name of the former Korean tournament in like 2016. This was like before the Overwatch League. It was like Apex Overwatch tournaments. That's what they called it back in the day. It was like super hype if you were an early fan of Overwatch 1. The playoff format's almost the exact copy-paste of Apex Season 2. It was a lot of fun watching back in the day. Miller, once again, couldn't give details on whether a revival of the Apex tournament was in the cards should the team owners vote not to continue. But he acknowledged that the Apex tournament was much beloved by fans, and that no matter what gets decided, Overwatch esports will prioritize that love, serving the fans all across the globe in the best way. Miller also emphasized the league's commitment to its players, but couldn't share what that commitment looks like in a post-OWL future. We're in ongoing conversations with teams internally, and players are our top priority to ensure that this transition, should it occur, happens in the best way possible, he said. Because of the uncertainty concerning what the team owners will decide, there wasn't much Miller could definitively say about the league beyond the 2023 season. He reiterated the ongoing commitment to Overwatch esports and committed to being as transparent with fans as possible, but despite the potentially massive changes on the horizon, Miller remained optimistic. I'm actually very optimistic about the future of Overwatch esports and the competitive ecosystem, he said. We are doing all we can to make the player experience and the fan experience one that people want to return to, want to be part of, and get excited to turn on. That optimism, however, doesn't seem to line up with the reality of what's going on with Blizzard's esports department. Yesterday, the company's esports department suffered layoffs, impacting around 50 employees. So this is another big punch in the gut. I follow a lot of the Overwatch League team behind the scenes on Twitter, and it was just a sad day seeing a bunch of tweets saying, you know, laid off, looking for work. I will say, like, although Overwatch League was a sinking ship, you have to give credit to the 50 plus people in the back still running that ship for the fans that love the Overwatch League still. Yeah, we can be like, yeah, the Overwatch League was dying, blah, 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 blah. But I'm saying we can also at the same time say, you know, applaud the people who are still running that ship and making the best with what they had. You know what I mean? They were still trying to put on a good show despite everything else. And you can say what you want about the other things, but they were doing their best. So I always try to prioritize letting people know, like, there's people behind, you know, the veil of big corporate Activision, right? So these were the people who were unfortunately caught in the crossfire, which, according to one of those affected, seemed like a significant gutting of Activision Blizzard esports. In a statement to The Verge, Brad Crawford, the senior director of global communications of Activision Blizzard esports, wrote, "We remain committed to the future of esports." This is such a PR statement. Are you sure you remain committed to the future of esports at this point? Okay. "And we regularly assess how our staffing aligns with our business goals to ensure we can evolve with changing trends and best deliver for our teams, players, and fans. As always, supporting our employees through transition is our top priority." Man, they let people go. We're like more than halfway through the season. Blizzard makes so much money. Could you at least not have, like, kept them for the rest of the year? If you're already bleeding money, how much more are you bleeding for, like, the season ends end of September. 3 more months, man. That's it. At least you can, like, you know, just keep them for the last 3 months. You give them an early heads up. This is so, like, this is so corporate. This is so, like, it feels very unethically. Is it inhumane even the right word? It wasn't even like, you know, a warning or anything. It's just like, today it just happened. There was no announcements, no nothing. They dropped everyone. Man, that's actually just so, I feel so bad for these people. like I said, they were just doing their best, and then they get cut July 19th when there's 3 months left of a potential final season. Give them a warning. Yes, maybe if the writing's on the wall that like they knew this news was coming, but like they know this is the last season, I guarantee you these passionate people who are still making the league run would put on a killer of a final show, a final goodbye or something like that. This is the most Activision Blizzard thing in the world. Yeah, we care about Overwatch esports and the people, but no, not really. Let's just cut the cord right here. Like, man, that's just we are regularly assess how our staffing aligns with our business goals. Bro, 50 people for 3 months is pennies to Activision Blizzard. Come on, man. Hey, not a good look. That's all I'm saying. However, those let go don't feel very supported, as they shouldn't. They do not feel supported. I'm with you guys. According to a laid-off employee who asked not to be identified for the sake of their future employment, the layoff came out of nowhere. Another corporate moment. There was no warning, they told The Verge via email. This was a complete shock to everyone, and none of us who were laid off were offered any opportunity to switch roles or teams. The former employee worked in esports operation and had the perception that everything within that department was going well. The team had obviously shrunk over the last few years, and esports as a whole has been struggling lately, but we were seeing record viewership and lucrative sponsorship deals for our Call of Duty League tournaments, they said. Overwatch League didn't seem quite as successful from a viewership perspective, but we saw more success than ever with our Owl Skin promotion in our side leagues like Calling All Heroes. The former employee shared that Blizzard was sunsetting some of the tools used to run its tournaments, and that before being let go, they were working on a new tool to replace those being shut down. As far as I know, that tool is still planned to be terminated in the coming weeks, and our replacement wasn't finished, so I can only speculate that Activision Blizzard is closing its esports division. They said they may be able to keep a skeleton crew on to close out the Overwatch League and the World Series of Warzone seasons in the next few months, but in my eyes, they're completely unequipped to internally support anything esports after that. So basically, we lost 50 crews, so there's a skeleton crew where morale is down for the skeleton crew. They feel like ass. They lost so many of their valued teammates, and they have so much extra stress, corporate stress, to like carry on an entire operation without 50 people. The broadcast is gonna be poop, PR, negative sentiment. Like, if Blizzard could just swallow 50 people for 3 months, pennies to them, keep morale up. I feel like that's just, they're all just ROI numbers now. Are they really not thinking long-term and public sentiment? Does public sentiment even matter to them? Apparently not. Jesus, man. Ay. Okay. As Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard looms, Miller's optimism for the future of Overwatch esports contrasts heavily with the grim picture painted by the now former employees who made Overwatch esports possible. I can't really fathom what the benefit is to lay people off when your company is posting record profits and your stock price is quite literally capping out with the looming acquisition. The employee said, this move isn't helping the shareholders, not helping the business, not helping the remaining employees. Ay. So now it's just a skeleton crew to finish this season. Sad news. I knew a lot, some of the editors on the team, the back end people. They're really great people. I did some behind the scenes work with Overwatch League the past few years. I had a couple of sponsored appearances. They had a really cool production thing. Like when I was supposed to appear on broadcast, they had a person checking in, tech check. I met 2 of the people. I did a couple of picking my pick'ems with one of the editors, and they wanted me to say this, do this, so they can edit and put something beautiful together. They're really passionate people behind the scenes. So this is just really sad to see how they just laid them off at this point. Sorry, I just can't get over the fact that it's just so just out of left field, just no warning. Man, this is gonna suck for the grand finals are happening in Toronto in September. I'm from Toronto. I was gonna go. I mean, I'm still going to go because it's the final Overwatch event, but You know what I mean? There's something about like the energy in the room, and it probably just feels something about the juju will be off. That's for sure, man. Tough news. This is the quarterly earnings. Okay. Well, in Blizzard fashion, was this a planned thing? Because there's other better news. Part of me wants to believe no, this was planned before, but part of me like can't help but think this was like very conveniently placed. There's other times where like different things from Blizzard were conveniently placed where I can be like, nah, that doesn't make any sense because like some of those things take a long time, but this one's interesting. So those were the bad news to begin with. Now on the better news, Blizzard games are coming to Steam, starting with Overwatch 2. So Overwatch 2 coming to Steam. Planned release date, August 10th, 2023. This game plans to unlock in 3 weeks. Let me read the article, then I'll give you my thoughts. Blizzard's games are breaking free from the Battle.net launcher as some of them are making their way over to Steam. The first game to make the jump is Overwatch 2, which will debut on Valve's storefront on August 10th. We, quote, "We want to give everyone a chance to experience our universe with old friends while making new ones, no matter how they choose to play," Blizzard said. Wait, this is Blizzard saying it? As a free-to-play, team-based game, we believe Overwatch 2 is the perfect title for Blizzard's debut on the platform. Sorry, I have to give Blizzard a different voice. Gamers and developers are both going to benefit from the Overwatch 2 coming to Steam. Wait, no, that's Gabe Newell. Gamers and developers are both going to benefit from Overwatch 2 coming to Steam, Valve president Gabe Newell said in a statement. Gamers will have another platform where they can play a beloved game that utilizes the capabilities of Steam. And developers will benefit from the effects of having the talented team at Blizzard helping us evolve our supported features and functionality for Overwatch 2. Jared Noose, one of the game director, what's his official game producer now? He says, "We've been working with Valve for months to be Blizzard's first game ever to launch on Steam. It's been incredibly tough to keep quiet about a project so we're all so passionate about. Now we can finally talk about it openly." Okay, sorry. Going quick. To be clear, Overwatch 2 isn't leaving Battle.net, so you won't need to uninstall the game from there and re-download it through Steam. As on all other platforms, Steam players will still need to have a Battle.net account to play Overwatch 2, and that enables cross-play, platform play, and cross-progression. There are some advantages to playing Overwatch 2 on Steam instead of Battle.net. The game will support Steam achievements, okay, and you'll be able to invite your Steam friends to join you. So now we're no longer gated by the Battle.net limit on friends lists. And if, for those who don't know, this is a very unethical pro tip. But having less friends on Battle.net on PC gets you higher frames. It has been a known bug in the higher elo community forever. When people used to make Smurf accounts or new accounts on Battle.net and they don't add people so that they have higher FPS. It's actually true. There's something about like the request and something about a long friends list when people log in and out that affected frames. I don't know if they fixed it, but it used to be a thing. It was a very true thing. You've heard of it, right, Cactus? So it's like Overwatch was better without friends. It can't be true. No, it was something about optimization, I'm pretty sure, with like, you know, again, when people log in and out and they, you know, when somebody plays a game, so-and-so is now playing Overwatch. They stop playing Overwatch. Something about sending those thingies probably messed something up with frame rates. But back in the day, in early Overwatch 1, I remember you just make sure you had less people on your friends list, better frame rates. In any case, that's just a fun anecdote I wanted to point out. It's not yet clear whether Overwatch 2 will have native Steam Deck support. I've asked for clarification on that. I was already dreading the game hitting Xbox Cloud Gaming if and when the Microsoft deal goes through, since being able to play Overwatch 2 pretty much anywhere I can find decent Wi-Fi or cell reception would probably ruin me. Having it on Steam Deck seems like a good middle ground. I don't have a Steam Deck, so I'm not actually sure how that would work. This is a smart way for Blizzard to reach more players and bring newcomers into the Overwatch 2 fold. I'm sure many folks will appreciate being able to launch more of their games natively from the same launcher and not have to bother with Battle.net at all. We're excited to see the response from the Overwatch community, both veteran players and new ones who come on board through Steam, and we're looking forward to hearing their feedback, Blizzard said. It's unclear whether other Blizzard titles are coming to Steam or which ones will make the leap. The publisher says it will reveal more details when the time is right. Diablo 4 in particular seems like a safe bet given how successful the game has been. Until they saw the Season 1 patch notes. Those were not good. Of course, all this is happening amid Microsoft's ongoing attempt to buy Activision Blizzard. The blockbuster deal could close any day now. Microsoft has been critical of Activision's decision to silo Call of Duty games on Battle.net in the past. In court filings, Microsoft called that effort to boost Battle.net a resounding failure. So it was already likely that Blizzard games would start appearing on other PC storefronts outside of Battle.net, outside of some older ones which are already available through GOG. What the heck is GOG? Microsoft's first-party PC games are all on Steam, as far as I know, as far as I'm aware. If and when the deal goes through, we'll surely see Activision Blizzard games come to the Xbox PC app as well, so they can be on Game Pass. Still, it's a big shift for Blizzard to start putting its games on Steam. GOG, oh, it's CD Projekt's launcher. Okay, first of all I need to say is, so this is the good news. Having one launcher, I think most publishers have accepted that Steam is like the leader in as a gaming platform on PC. I genuinely dislike having to have like an EA login, a Ubisoft login, a Battle.net, Epic Games launcher. There's just too many. So like I think having things ported onto Steam is pretty good. So that's good. Anecdotally speaking, I quit Apex for a while because I forgot my EA login, and then once Apex went onto Steam, I was able to be like, oh, this is a lot easier to access. I still had to I actually went through and recovered my EA because you still have to link it, but like the fact that it went on Steam made me want to play it again. So like this is actually good for returning players and potentially new players for Overwatch 2. This is good to capture a wider audience. I was saying earlier, sometimes when you log on Steam, you get like a promotional deal. It tells you like, hey, this new game is available to download. This game is on discount. Now they have a big banner that says Overwatch 2 is available on Steam. Those who have never touched it or never played a Blizzard game and they're already on Steam, they have a chance to download and play. So I think that is a good thing. Number two, another good thing about this going on to Steam is something I heard in Flats' stream earlier when I was lurking, was that the China NetEase deal. So you guys remember how NetEase backed out and now Blizzard games like Overwatch cannot be played in China. So I think China has a separate Steam client where Chinese players are able to play Steam games. So I'm not sure if this is true or not, still need a citation, but this may be a workaround to get the game in the hands. Oh wow, paywall. Thank you, Forbes. This may be a temporary workaround to play it on Steam, potentially. So this one's still citation needed. You still need to use Battle.net login with Steam. Okay, maybe not then. Okay. Well, that's just something, that's just food for thought in case something goes up in that capacity. Number three, we now have Steam charts. Once Overwatch goes on to Steam. Steam charts is a site where you can see active player base. So now people can actually see how many daily users and monthly users are playing via the Steam platform. Obviously, that won't account for people still playing on Battle.net. It won't account for people playing on console, but at least it gives, is it called plausible deniability? If the numbers look bad, then the Overwatch defenders can be like, well, it's because we're all on console and, you know, people are still playing on Battle.net. And if the numbers look good, we can be like, hell yeah, look, Overwatch 2 numbers are insane. Look at that. Woo! So now we cover both bases. We cover both ends of the extreme. So Overwatch defenders can, we can hold strong in case we can applaud it if things look good, and we can defend it if things look bad. Oh gosh. Okay, and then what was the third thing I wanted to say with this thing coming onto Steam? Damn it, Forbes. Fresh. I had one more point I wanted to make with this game coming on Steam. Oh, achievement hunters, that's good. Steam friends list integration. Oh, credits. So some people have like Steam currency. I'm pretty sure Blizzard and Valve have a deal where, like, you know, people buy from the Steam store, you know, they probably get a cut or whatever. I actually ended up buying some Apex cosmetics because I had some extra like Apex currency that was like only linked through Steam, like a redeemable Steam code or something like that, Steam points. You're kind of merging some currencies. So like there's more money going into the game. Like money going into Overwatch is a good thing. It's just how they use the money at Blizzard and Activision is something we need to like, that's a story for a different day. But like if the game is like making money, that is generally good as long as they're paying devs and paying for new content and paying for the development of new content. But again, I don't want to open another can of worms on how they're using the funds, but like, you know, having funds in the game to like do things with can't be too bad. And yeah, so anyways, Blizzard going on Steam good, layoffs bad. That's today's news. That's all I have to say. Goodbye.